Well, hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Marlene Stutz, and myself and my business partner, Helen Crawley, we partner with Rainbow Push um, to help get small businesses and self-employed people and also churches get qualified for the PPP. As you all know, Rainbow Push has been an organization that has fought for social justice for a very, very long time for minorities. And now what we are seeing them doing, they're championing economic justice. As we know, the first round of the PPP program, we saw that the true small businesses really didn't get any of the money. There was over $349 billion that was gone in less than 2 weeks. And as you see, it went to people like the Harvards, the big restaurant chains that snuck in and took all that money. So what we have heard that in the last week, $179 billion have been returned from the big businesses who were not supposed to qualify for these funds. So what we are doing is educating people on what they need to apply, how they should apply. If they don't have a relationship already with their SBA lenders, we are gonna point you to some lenders which will help you get your loan approved. This Friday, Congress signed in additional monies, I think over $300 billion of money that is set aside for the PPP program. Now, the EIN program did not run out of money, just the PPP. So if you're on this call, you got to know that you could apply for the EIDL program as well as a PPP program, and we'll go through that. So there are a lot of new money, over $300+ billion on Friday. But I'm telling you, that money goes fast. So after this call today, if you have not applied yet, we're gonna give you a link if you don't have a relationship with your SBA lender to go and apply right away, because I think by tomorrow, the money could be over. So we're gonna walk through what it is, and you could ask me any questions. Let me see, why is my screen not moving? 1 minute. Okay, so there's three major pieces of the legislation. You know, the Coronavirus Preparedness and Response Supplement Appropriation Act, signed in law on March 6, 2020, $8.3 billion of emergency funding. Then you have the Family First Corona Response Act, signed into law on March 18th. And that is where most of the programs that we're gonna talk about is being funded. So the Paycheck Protection Program is Title 1 of the CARES Act, is called Keeping American Workers Paid and Employed. It is actually designed to keep your people working. Who is eligible? Generally, any businesses with fewer than 500 employees. And you must certify that COVID-19 caused your business to be in this situation, and use the funds to retain your workers. If you're self-employed and you are the only employee, you're gonna use the fund to retain your salary. So we're gonna cover three parts. How much of the loan are you eligible for? What can you use the money for? And how much could be forgiven? Now keep in mind, we are not just here to help you to get a loan. We're here to help you make that loan forgivable. And in order for that loan to be forgivable, you gotta use that money in a certain way. And we're gonna cover all that today. So the eligible amount is 2.5 times your average monthly payroll for the previous year, up to $10 million. If you have a seasonal business, like if you have a business where like in Florida, when the Canadians come down, there are people who only do hair and design, makeup design for them, and their seasonal business, then you'll take 2.5 times your average monthly payroll for the period from February the 15th, let me go back, I'm sorry, February the 15th, 2019 through June the 30th, 2019, you'll average that and you'll multiply by 2.5. What is included in payroll? We're going to talk a lot about payroll inclusion, because for you to get the forgiveness, you have to spend a minimum of 75% of the dollars that you get on payroll. Salaries and wages, leave, health insurance, retirement, and payroll taxes. Now, your 1099 employees are not covered as salary for your PPP as a business owner. So if you have 1099 employees, we have another call coming up in the next hour where they could go and apply for the PPP themselves. Exclusion. If you have an employee that's making more than 100,000, you could only count up to $100,000 in salary. Compensation for workers whose primary residence is outside of the United States are also excluded. Wages for family or sick leave receiving FFCRA credits, which will be a credit received from the Treasury. So you cannot double it, you cannot count that twice. And compensation for 1099 employees. So if you have employees that you 1099, they will have to file their PPP for themselves. Again, you could file a PPP for yourself and for your W-2 employees. However, if you have 1099 employees, they have to file their own PPP. How can you use the funds? Can be used for payroll costs, including health insurance. 75% must be used for payroll costs and health insurance. Rent, if you rent a place and you had that obligation before February the 15th. Now, a lot of people have tried to start business after February the 15th and qualify for the PPP. That is fraud. You have to have been in business before the pandemic started. Mortgage interest obligation existing before February the 15th. And I say mortgage interest is not your mortgage. It's the interest portion of the mortgage that you write off as a business expense. And of course, your utilities. And if you want to stop me and ask me any question, please do, okay? Because we just have a small group today. Yesterday, we had all the big groups. The terms for the loan, no collateral. So people asking me, do I have to have a down payment? No. There are no fees for the loan, like when you close it on a house. There's no personal guarantee. So it's not based on your credit. This is money you qualified for because you operate a small business and your income was hurt by this pandemic. So there's no credit report. If your bank is asking you for crazy stuff, go to another bank. Because I tell people this, I've been dealing with a lot of banks today for my client. If your bank is asking you for stuff today that you're not willing to provide to get the loan, when time to forgive the loan, you will have problems. So make sure you go to a bank that's not asking you a bunch of crazy questions. No prepayment penalty. So if you get a $20,000 loan and you realize you don't need it, you could give it back without any prepayment penalty. The payments are deferred for 6 months, and Treasury is really considering deferring it for 12 months. So if you get a loan in June, I think you'll get away before June if you qualify, then you have until 6 months after to even start paying on it. So it will give your business chance. A lot of small businesses are saying, I don't want to apply for this loan because what if my business don't come back and now I have a loan? I say, still take the loan. And if you don't need it, give it back. But at least you have money to cushion you through this tough times. 2-year loan term, so it's up to 2 years and it's guaranteed by the SBA. And your interest rate is only 1% as compared to the EIDL loan that you apply for, that you should apply for. That interest rate is 3.75% for businesses and 2.75% for charitable organization. So you could even use this money if you already have an EIDL loan. You could use this money to pay off the loan because the interest rate is lower. We have to use wisdom on how we spend this money. Can it be forgiven? And the answer is yes, but it depends. The amount must be spent on eligible expenses in the 8 weeks immediately after your loan closing. So when you get the money, you got to start spending the money. The week you get the money, if you're self-employed and you pay yourself a salary or an advance, start paying yourself, because you have 8 weeks to spend that money, and you cannot wait till the last week and pay yourself 8 weeks, because there are limits on how much you could pay on a bi-weekly basis. It's 100,000 divided by 52 times 2. So you cannot pay yourself more than 3,800 every 2 weeks. So make sure you're paying yourself every week. At least 75% of the loan proceeds must be spent on payroll. We talked about that already. And we have to stress that, because if you don't pay money and you don't pay those money on payroll, the loan will not be forgivable. If you file and you get money for 12 employees, and then you fire your employees, then your loan is not forgivable. You'll have to pay for that. So make sure, if you have 8 employees before the pandemic and the loan is approved for 8 people to be employed, make sure you don't reduce your employee staff rate. Very, very important. If you reduce your staffing, your loan could be non-forgiving. All right? What can you add to the loan in addition to payroll? You could add gross wages for salary, tips, commissions, or similar compensation, paid vacation. So if you have 10 days of paid vacation, you could add that, and you could borrow that money also. Parental, family, medical, or sick leave. If you do that for your employee, then you could put that into the loan also. Severance paid being paid. You could group health care expenses. If you have group health insurance, you could add that also onto the loan. Retirement benefit. If you pay a 401k or a solo K for your employees, and you pay that into them every month into their retirement plan, then you could apply for the loan to continue paying that also. And any taxes you pay, payroll taxes and net earning from self-employment. So it's just not payroll. It's payroll and everything that you pay to keep your business running. Reduction to the loan amount. Of course, I just said, I'm going to repeat it again. If you have an employee that make $100,000, $115,000, and you calculated your payroll, you could only calculate that employee at $100,000. So you must calculate any employees over 115 at 100,000. That's the cap. Any employees whose principal place of residence is outside of the United States cannot be counted in your payroll for the PPP. So if you have customer service in India or Afghanistan or wherever your customer service, and they are employees, but they are foreign employees, they cannot be counted in the PPP. And sick leave wages covered by the Family First Corona Response Act, which will be a tax credit in 2020, you cannot count that because that will be double dipping. Helpful forms to collect. Now, you have to be careful, because I've been in the bank all morning with clients. Because a lot of clients, if you have a business and it's let's say your business is a partnership. So you file a 1065 return and you only have a K1. Most small businesses don't pay themselves. So when the bank start asking you for a 940 is quarterly forms that you file with the IRS. If your business is not structured like that, you would not have a 940. You wouldn't have a 941. So you have to help the SBA, the bank, because I've been on the phone all morning with banks. You have to tell the bank how you're structured and how you pay yourself. You might have to say, I have a 1065 tax return, and I have a K1 that shows I had $20,000 or $30,000 in income after expenses. If you cannot use that, let me take my application somewhere else, right? They might ask you if you have W-2 employees. They will ask you for a list of all your employees under $100,000. You should have that. Your W-3, if you have a good accountant, when you file a W-3, it lists all the employees that are employed throughout the year. Cost of healthcare premium, you should have that if you have health insurance for your employees, retirement benefit that you pay for your employees, and K1 for partners. And when you do your 1065 for your business, if you have an LLC with more than one shareholder, then you will get a K1. So make sure you know how you structured, whether it's a subchapter S, a subchapter C, a LLC, or you're just a plain sole proprietor with a Schedule C. You have to let the person calling you for information know, because it could be frustrating and people could say, I don't want this loan anymore. It's just costing me too much headache. Documentation needed for estimating your loan forgiveness. Of course, for the 8 weeks period, from the loan origination date, you have to show them how you spend the money. So I highly suggest, if you're paying yourself, you pay yourself with a check or some kind of direct deposit that you could track in your bank. I highly recommend staying away from just going as a sole proprietor and just taking out $1,000 from the ATM. You need to have a track record of what you paid. The interest you paid on your mortgage, most time that comes out to your bank, so you can show that. All your rental or your lease, don't pay your lease or rental with cash. You have to have documentation and receipts that show how you paid the utility bills, the rent, the payroll, and everything. Make sense? So let me take a breath. Let me see if anybody have any questions. Does anybody have any questions so far? All righty, you have a question, James?
No, I don't. Actually, I'm a independent, so I don't have the business set up. I'm a hairstylist, so I kind of pretty much just file. I have a 1040, I guess, with my, the exemptions and stuff like that, but I don't have a business set up. So
So
I
you
do
got
everything.
1040 and you file with a Schedule C.
Yeah, I guess that's so.
No,
Yeah.
I know that's so.
Okay.
So you report all your income in a Schedule C.
Yeah.
So we cover that on the next call, but let me tell you just for short, since you're on here. All you will have to have is your 1040, your Schedule C. Did you file your 2019 taxes yet?
No.
Okay. If you didn't file your 2019, some banks are not accepting 2018 Schedule C. Did you do 2018?
Yes.
Okay, so if you look on line 31 of your Schedule C, it will show you your business loss or income.
Okay.
What the SBA is saying, if you have a business loss on line 31, you don't qualify for the PPP.
Okay.
If you look at your Schedule C last year, look and see if it was a plus.
Okay.
Because that is what we brought over to line 12 of the 1040. So for you, what you'll have to do when you file, have you applied for your PPP loan yet?
No, I haven't done anything. So this is like new to me. So
Okay. So when at the end, we have a few more slides, we'll show you what to do. You could come on Helen calls after, because we put all the presentation together.
Okay.
But bottom line, you have to have your Schedule C and your 1040, really the Schedule C. If they're not taking your Schedule C from 2018, I would suggest, is your accountant still working? The person do your taxes?
I'm actually looking for another one because he passed away. So
Okay. So I'm a financial advisor, tax accountant also. If you don't know somebody you trust, I could take a look at it for you. I'll give you my information in the chat. So
okay.
all you'll have to do is put your income that you received this year. In order to get a loan, you'll have to make sure you show a profit.
Okay.
And so, we have to play the game to get this money, all right?
I got you.
And then you could amend next year, whatever, but I could help you with that.
Okay.
So expected for documents needed for estimating potential reduction or loan forgiveness. You will have to show that you're paying your employees if you're a business and not just a 1099 like James. Make sure you record all the payment to these employees, seasonal and non-seasonal. And I tell people, make sure you have everything documented. Because when time to get the loan forgiven, that's when they need all the documentation. So James, when you get your loan, every week start paying yourself. I don't mind if you take the money out of one bank, pay yourself and put it in another bank, but you got to spend the money, okay? Remember, it is a loan with a potential for some forgiveness. In order for it to be forgiven, James, you got to probably write all of yours off, because if you don't pay your own health, do you pay your own health insurance, James?
Yes.
So you could show your payment for your health insurance. You could show your salary that you're paying yourself. So what you'll have to do, you'll average your monthly salary and then multiply it by 2.5. So that's what the second line says. You are eligible to borrow 2.5 times month of payroll costs. So if you pay yourself $5,000 a month divided times 12 is 60,000. 12 times 2.5, that's what you qualify for. 5,000 a month times 2.5 months is, I think, 12,500. So that's what you could apply for outside of any other things like your rent and stuff like that. Do you pay rent also for what you do here?
Yes.
Okay. So you could include all of that in your loan. You have 8 weeks on closing to spend the money. I'm saying that over and over again because I know a lot of people, sometimes you see 20,000 sit down in your bank and you get so happy, you got to spend the money. Whether you spend it by moving it to another account, show that you are depleting the money. Eligible amount must be spent by June the 30th. Must be spent by June the 30th. So when you get the money, start writing your check, weekly check or bi-weekly check. Start paying your rent to your landlord, if that's how you do it, with a check. Start paying your utility bills that you pay for your business with a check. So when time comes for forgiveness, we have all the proof, okay?
Gotcha.
I'm gonna say it again and again. We just don't want you to get a loan. We want you to get a loan that is totally forgiven. So, James, why are you in Chicago?
No, I'm in Detroit.
You're in Detroit. Okay, good. So if you take this website down, you see this website, rpccovid19.com, Rainbow Push C COVID-19.com. And when you go there, it asks you whether you want to apply as an Illinois resident, or the next option is apply for as an out-of-state, as an all other state resident.
Okay.
So you click there. Let me see if I can pull it up and show you my screen. 1 second, okay? Okay, BCC COVID. Let me see if I could share this screen. 1 second. I am trying to share my screen. Come on. 1 second, I'm trying to stop share and share the screen. Oh. Well, 1 second, come on screen already, 1 second. So let me share the screen. You share. Can you see the screen? James, can you see the screen?
Oh, hold on. Yes, I can see it.
So you see rpccovid19.com?
Yes.
And you see when I go down here, it says start application for Chicago here, or start application for all of the states here. You see that?
Yes.
You click on that. That's if you don't have a relationship with the lender, you click on that. And it start asking you question, CARES Act application. And then you hit next.
Because I know. Not to cut you off. I was gonna say I know because I use Square. Square Pay. So I do notice that they actually sent me something in regards to this.
Yes, Square have the ability now to process to process loan, because the banks were so unfair to people that now Square and PayPal and all of them, you could do it through Square.
Yeah, because
So,
and that's who I utilize to actually do my transactions when I would do my cards and stuff.
okay, so start using Square, start applying for it through Square. Let me post my email in the chat since it's just us now. Let me post my email in the chat so you could get my email. M-A-R Marlene starts at so you see that, James? I just posted in the chat. Marlene starts at yahoo.com. Did you see that?
Yeah, I see it. I'm writing it down now. Hold on.
So James, is detrimental, it's imperative that you start this today because we think this money could run out tomorrow.
Okay.
So start it. If you have any question, hit me up
Okay.
and I'll help you get this form done because you're applying as a 1099 employee. Even though you own your business, you don't have employees, right?
No.
Okay, so it's just you. So 1099. No, let me ask you a question. Did you get paid on a, how do you pay yourself?
Actually, well, I just honestly, the money goes into an account and I
And
kind of
you use it for business.
utilize it. Yeah.
Okay, so you're not really a 1099. You'll have to just show them your Schedule C.
Okay.
So if the demand on you having a Schedule C for 2019, I could help you with that, okay?
Okay. Because I usually get when depending on the amount, I would get a 1099 from the Square in regards to the money that was reported and stuff like that.
So
So
you run everything through Square.
yes.
So guess what? You know, normally like if you, let me stop recording. I can't let people hear this. Normally, let's stop recording. Normally, if you have like $100,000 worth of income, I'm just using an example, and then
Right.
you might write off your car, you might depreciate car, you might write off miles, you might write off your hair care product, you might write off your rent, and then
Right.
even with 100,000 at the end, you only show 10,000 in income.
Right.
Then what they're saying, the maximum you could get is what you show in income.
Okay.
So
What
make sure if you,
that positive number is, that's what you're explaining to me, right?
uh,
That positive number
yes.
after all your deductions and
Yeah, and
everything.
that should not have been so. That's unfair because really the deductions are valid deduction by law. They should have gone with a gross amount, but they
Right.
change a lot of the rules so that
Okay.
we give our people money. I don't care what people say. That's what's going on.
I got you.
But we're gonna get this money.
Yeah.
So if Square refused to accept your 2018 Schedule C, we could do a quick Schedule C, and that would be what we'll have to forward with your 1040 for 2020. No, if you show more income, you have to pay more taxes, so it's a catch-22. You understand, right?
Yeah, I understand. I've been playing. Well, I've been playing that game for a minute, so I get it.
Hey,
Believe.
this is a new breed of Negroes.
And this is I mean, this is new to me in regards to, of course, all this happening, but just the information that you're giving, it's good information. And do you do these like every day, or how are you doing it?
We've been doing 3 a day, and we have one tomorrow also. I would
Okay.
suggest that you get on the one. There's one, I think, at 4. Or if you email me, I'll tell you when the next one where Helen, I'm partnering with Helen, well, because she is the relationship with Rainbow Push, and
Okay.
we have another presentation solely for 1099 employees or self-employed people like you with just no employees.
Okay.
It's similar to this, but it's more straightforward, and we break it down more because sometimes the business people have lawyers and they have everybody. But so I will say get started now. If Square is acting up, use that link on the Rainbow Push website
Okay.
because they have a lot of lenders that they can
Okay.
match you up with. Okay.
Okay.
Don't take no for nothing. And did you apply for the EIDL loan also? Did you?
I don't even know what that is.
Um, um, s- Email me and I'll send you a link. You need that. There's more money on that side too.
Okay.
And you don't get money if you don't have employees, but you might get just $1,000 and a loan. So you could apply for both the economic injury disaster loan.
Okay.
That loan is at 3.75, but the PPP loan to keep payroll going is just a 1% loan. So if you apply for the both, you never know. And the EIDL, you have over up to 10,000, which is forgivable as a grant. So if you apply for it and you get a grant, but you don't get a loan, you still have to keep the grant, and the grant is free with no taxation associated with it. So if you go to the SBA website, or I'll send you a link, because I went there this morning and it wasn't working, and type EIDL.
Okay.
And you could click there and apply for the loan also. The same thing it'll ask you, what is your payroll? Multiplies that time two, and that's how to calculate that also, okay?
Okay.
So we're here to help, James.
Okay. All right. I thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, God bless you. So we have another session. So if you have a bunch of stylists and barbers and stuff who need, because a lot of us not taking the money, we scared, we don't know. So tell
Yes.
your friends, them get on this call and get this money.
Yeah, I'm about to repost it.
Okay, wonderful.
Yep, I'm about to repost it. Okay, thank you.
God
All right, and
bless.
I'll talk to you. Okay, all right.
Bye-bye.